Hi, this is Katora.
And this is Nicole. And this is Cooking Up Chats. Guys, we are here today to give you some of the tidbits from our recent Japan trip. And man, what a time we had.
We had the best time.
It was so good.
The trip was just wonderful, but we did a lot.
We did
So we decided to go through some of the itinerary that we had for the trip, starting with Osaka. So we might continue on to another video with the other cities and towns we went to, but today's video and this video is about Osaka.
Yes, and so it was a great trip. A lot was done. I mean, at this point, when we were figuring out what we wanted to talk about, we were scrolling through the pictures just to get a sense of like, what did we do that day? What did we do there? Did we eat? And so you'll get some of that as we go through it. But first, let's start with getting to Japan. So as you know, we live in Charlotte, North Carolina. And so we took a flight on Air Canada from Charlotte to Toronto and then from Toronto to Osaka.
Right. And so the trip from Charlotte to Toronto, really quick, about an hour and a half, maybe even less. I don't even think it was 2 hours.
I don't think so.
And then from Toronto to Osaka, it was 15 hours. And that was the longest flight I've ever taken. Was it the longest for you?
It was the longest flight for me as well.
And after hour one, I was like, are we there yet?
So I'm assuming the headwinds had something to do with it, because originally the itinerary had it like a 13-hour trip. And then we're on the plane and the captain's like, okay, well, you know, sorry to tell you, we're going to have to add 90 minutes to 2 hours.
I'm boarding to go to Osaka. It's going to be, someone just said 15 hours, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, flight's full.
Onto this flight, and we were like, gosh, 15 hours, that's insane. I don't know about you, but so I usually fall asleep on planes pretty easily, so I ended up falling asleep on that plane pretty quickly. And then they brought the food maybe like an hour and a half, 2 hours into the flight. And that woke me up. So then between the nap, the food, playing a game on my phone, watching a movie on the plane, I looked up and there was still like 12 hours to go. And I was like, OMG, this is torturous.
For me, I don't know what it is about flights, but I rarely sleep. Even if I'm up the night before, which is what I plan to do. I plan to just stay up all night before. And then when I get on the plane, I'll go to sleep so I could just kind of sleep through the flight. That did not happen with this trip at all. I was up for probably the majority of the flight to Osaka, and they were asleep. We went with some friends of ours. We're off to see Japan.
We are so excited. It's a group of us, and we're flying Air Canada. Our first leg is to Toronto. Do you want to meet the crew? Y'all want to say hi? Hi, I'm Dom. Hi, everybody.
Hi, I'm Evie.
And we have one more meeting us in Toronto, so it's going to be a group of 5.
And they were pretty good because they got some sleep. I didn't get any, and I was awake during the turbulence. And I felt like there was a lot. She said she didn't really notice that much, and I was like, there was a lot of turbulence going to Osaka. So
the flight, I slept to that part.
The flight for me was a little rocky, but I will say that if anything, I'm a big fan of the food, even on flights. And so since this was an international flight, I wanted to make sure I got my plate of food. Now, I just want to give you, this is going to be one of the tips, and we'll probably give you some tips here and there throughout this video and the next. But one of the tips I will say, if you do not eat red meat, which I don't, make sure you notify that on your information when you're booking the flight. I didn't do that. And so they served pork and they served beef. And unfortunately, I don't eat those things. So I had to have other options. I think they had some type of noodle or something also. So I ate that. But later on, we'll talk about the trip coming back. And that's when I made adjustments to that. So make sure you put down your food allergies while you're booking the flight.
Yeah, I think for me, I wasn't totally impressed with the food, so you probably didn't miss that much. I think that in this case, waking up for that food disrupted my sleep, and then I was up for a majority of the trip as well, compared to how I normally can sleep several hours on a plane. And so in this case, I think if I were to run this back, I would pack a lunch, get on board, eat my lunch, and then just go to bed. And then I would miss that dinner and then be up for the next little like snack meal that they served. Mm-hmm. But other than that, it was a very long flight and I was just grateful to get off of it.
Same.
So yeah, so some tips for the flight. I do carry a face mask because it never fails. As soon as you get on the flight, here's everyone coughing and sneezing and carrying on. So I always have the face mask. I usually do the eye mask as well, because was that the flight going or the flight back? There was one person on there. And so, okay, let me back up. Going to Osaka, the sun is with you pretty much the entire time, because we left at the daytime and we flew west. And so the sun was with us pretty much the whole time. And so what they do is they ask that you lower your sunshades so that everyone can get some rest. And there was just one person who refused to lower the shade. And I mean, that one little window brought so much light into the whole cabin. It's crazy. So because of that, not because of that, but gratefully I had my eye mask. So I carry an eye mask. I look like a little mummy with the eye mask, the face mask. I usually have a hood on. But that's how I get through the flights. And also my noise canceling earbuds. I put those in, and I usually put like an audiobook or some music that I've downloaded to my phone, and I let that drone on in the background so I can get some sleep.
Yeah, I usually have a scarf, a hat, I put a hood on, or a blanket over my head, just because people will mess with you while you're sleeping. And we didn't really talk about our Spain trip, but my cousin messed with me on our Spain trip previously with some pictures. So I usually just cover up my head fully, just so I know that like if I'm sleeping, no one's gonna be like taking like selfies and anything like that with me.
I would never. Okay, so like we mentioned, our first stop was Osaka. And we landed in the evening. I think it was about 5 or 6 p.m. And then we followed our Google Maps to get from the airport to our hotel. And for some reason, I don't know what was happening with Google Maps in Osaka. We found out maybe like on the second or third day that there was a train exit that was really close to our hotel. Meanwhile, it was making us get out of this exit like 6 or 7 blocks away and then like drag all the luggage and stuff through the streets, which was very challenging. But we made it. So we stayed in a hotel called Cross Hotel, and it is right.
Did you talk about the bus?
We took a bus?
Yes, from the airport we took the bus. Remember?
Oh, the limousine bus?
Yeah. Well, you know what I'm talking about.
I mean, it was a bus.
We took a bus from the airport to the hotel just because there were options on if we should take the bus to the hotel or if we should take the train to the hotel or get a cab. So I was just asking if she wanted to talk about it. But I mean, if you guys want to hear about it, comment below. Let us know if you want to hear about our bus venture from the airport to the hotel.
Yes. It was non-memorable, but I think the best thing about the bus is all of the luggage was able to go underneath, so you didn't have to fight looking for luggage slot on the train. And I think that was kind of like the factor that sold us on the bus thing, because after 15 freaking hours flying, we didn't want to have to deal with, figuring that part out.
Yeah, but like she said, we stayed at the Cross Hotel.
Here's our hotel for the next couple of days.
Which was, out of all the hotels we stayed at, and we stayed at a few, That was my favorite one. And one of the highlights of the Cross, when we checked in, they give you these wonderful little nice cloths. They were fragrant, and usually you get them in like spas where you can wipe your hands, wipe your face, and just kind of like cool you down. And we needed that cool down from the long journey. And so that was one of the things I really appreciated about the Cross. Another was that it was right next to Dotonbori, which is one of the biggest tourist sites in Osaka, but it was just right next door. It was a godsend for us because we didn't have to go far for what we were looking for.
Yes, I would say that was my second favorite hotel, and you'll hear about my first favorite hotel when we get to that city. But I did enjoy, I was saying that we were at the foot of the Glico Man. And I mean, like, literally, when we came out of the hotel, we crossed one little alleyway street, and there he was.
By the way, we will be inserting photos if we haven't already, but you'll see the pictures.
So there was 5 of us traveling, and so we ended up having to do 2 rooms, one with 2 beds and one with 3 beds. Mm-hmm. And so that hotel room, we were the room with 3 beds each time. So this one had 3, I guess, like twin size beds, you would call it. And then the bathroom with the Japan toilets. We gotta talk about the Japan toilets. And then once you get into the bathroom, it was like a step up into like a kind of another room, which was the shower room, and also had a tub. So it was nice. I think we have some footage of that. So we'll add that as well. But I really enjoyed it. The only reason this was my second favorite is because the other one, which had a similar setup, was slightly larger. And so when we get to that, I'll give more details there. But this was definitely my second favorite. So I would definitely give it like a 9 out of 10.
I gave it a 10 out of 10. It was just so relaxing. It was like the perfect amount of space. This compared to where we were going and what we wanted to do. We took a boat ride on one of the excursions.
Japanese food, okonomiyaki, tempura, sushi, ramen, gyoza, Christian in Osaka. はい、じゃあそうですね、明日もされていただくようにですね、ないかなというのでございますけれども、はい、非常にこう夜が更けましてですね、いろんなあたり、夏のあたりが非常に綺麗なところでございます。そしてですね、次の橋がですね、こうIR ブリッジ、日本の方は分かると思うんですけど、愛嬌がある、400年ほど前なんです。
Everything was just right there, and it was just very, very helpful. Like she said before, the toilets. I was a big fan of the warm seat toilets with the
bidet settings.
The bidet. I absolutely love the toilets out there in Japan as a whole. And as soon as I got back home, I looked for a bidet to install in my bathroom just because they were that great. But yeah, so they have them in all other hotels. All other restrooms, I believe, have bidets in Japan. That's just how it is. And if you don't know what a bidet is, you can look it up and see how that works.
Yeah, I will say this hotel did have the best toilet. It had more features on the toilet than any of the others. Which is so weird to be talking about toilet features coming from the US. Like, we don't have that. But as far as some of the features, it had a front and back bidet. Mm-hmm. It had like you can improve the, I guess, strength of the splash, and I think there was like an oscillating feature. I mean, the heated seats. I think did this one have a dryer? This one had the dryer. And so it was a lot on that toilet.
So Nicole didn't like the toilets.
It was weird.
I love them. It was just one of the highlights of the trip for me.
I mean,
there was a lot of highlights. It wasn't just a toilet was a highlight, but I'm just saying, I loved it.
For those of you who like go in the bathroom and then you're like 20 minutes on the toilet scrolling through or watching this video, like, then it probably comes in handy because it's nice and warm. But if you're just trying to get in, do the business and get out, you know, it's extra. So, but I loved it. And so, when we got in that night, we actually went to get a massage. We found this 24-hour massage place. We knew we were going to be on this flight a long time. And so we said, hey, why don't we just, get there, get the kinks out. We know we're going to be doing a ton of walking. So let's kind of start out like refreshed and relaxed. And so we walked to this massage place, probably about 15-minute walk or so. It wasn't terribly far. Our goal to get to the massage place, and we got to walk through Downton and see some stuff that we knew we wanted to try. So that was great for us to really pinpoint what areas we needed to revisit. And then this massage place though was kind of like in the cut. Like we had to go to Google Images, the street view, to figure out which building it was in. So we finally found it. And we went up and got the massage.
The best thing about that is if you're in an alley at night, it's different in Japan than in the States. So luckily it was safe. It was really late. We got our massages around 11. Mm-hmm. And so it was dark and it was an alley. So the GPS was saying that you have to go through these two alleyways and it's going to be right there. It wasn't. But it was very safe compared to doing it in the States. So I was actually relieved that at least we knew that we were going to be all right. Looking around.
So what I would say is learn some Japanese words related to how you like your massage. Because when I tell you they beat the crap out of me at that massage parlor, I did not know the Japanese word for softer. And I usually get a pretty soft to soft medium massage. And she was out there with the elbows, with the knees. She was and I was just and I was
I was definitely grunting, but it wasn't a positive grunt. It was ooh, and it was loud too. So we had it was us two, and we had a friend that was with us also, and so they had us in the same room, but they had curtains in between each one of us, and so you can hear each other. If something hurt, you would know it hurt. And I, in particular, this masseuse, he almost kind of elbowed me. And I was just oh, it was so painful. It was probably my least favorite thing that I did in Japan as a whole. I did not get another massage after that. I didn't like it. I'm sorry.
I got another massage, but not the one like this. This was probably the worst massage I ever had because it was so tough. We found a Thai massage place later on, and I went there. So definitely know your types of massages as well.
After that, I didn't trust it.
It was we're cushioned girls, right? Even our other friend, we all got cushioned, and they're definitely trying to get this pressure to get the cracks out. And so, you have to push a lot harder to maneuver the cushion. And so they just didn't, I guess they didn't really have a lot of experience with doing that.
I will actually, to that note, I will say, it is a lot different, size wise for women, especially women of our age, who are from the States than it is for women who live there in Japan. You could tell the difference. And so things are a little bit different as far as finding different clothes size and, figuring out different types of way that people like to be massaged and, different things. So there are a slight cultural differences. If you are planning a trip to Japan, just be aware of that. But also embrace the differences and changes. And I did not feel insulted or felt like I was abused. I felt like that was them and how they do their massages. I just didn't want to partake in it any more of those.
Yeah. So, do you want to talk about activities next or food next?
Let's talk about food.
Let's talk about food. Okay. So, if I'm being honest, I wasn't totally impressed with Osaka food.
I mean, I might agree with you. I honestly don't remember any highlight, any food that I would say I would eat again except for the ramen.
Say hi. it's a video. Say hi. We are at a ramen spot, and it's kind of like these little individual booth section thingies.
So this is my window, and this is the curtain that they've drawn. They're gonna pull it up and they're gonna serve me my ramen there.
I got an egg for my ramen, which they've already delivered to me, and so we'll see how it goes.
So he just gave me my box. I have my egg and my seaweed. Let's open the box. Ooh, looks cool. So I got green onions, spice, and the noodles. Good, right? It's good. Hot, but good. But I also would say I didn't dislike anything. Nothing really.
Yeah,
wowed
the
me
way
about
you see videos about Japan food, I had high expectations, and I feel like maybe the food did get better as we progressed through the other cities. But I know, so you mentioned the ramen. So in Osaka, right there in Downtown, next to, literally across the street from our hotel as well, there's a no pork ramen spot. And so like she mentioned earlier, she does not eat the red meat. And so, most ramen is the how they call it? Tonkatsu, something like that.
Sorry for butchering.
Yes, we definitely should have practiced pronunciation. All pork based broth, and then they put pork slices in the meat as well. So this one, the no pork ramen, I believe was chicken based broth, and then they also had beef as the meat option. It was tasty. I liked it.
I gave it a 10, and you'll see some videos on Instagram, and also we'll include the video here about how the setup is. It's kind of like an individual stall, and they serve you the noodles. Just the way they serve it, I thought it was amazing. And then the fact that you can have an no beef option or no pork option, I like that as well. And the flavoring of the broth, I thought it was amazing. I gave it a 10.
Yeah, it was not my favorite ramen. We had another ramen. I had a couple other ramens, and it was probably my least favorite. The other, it's not that it wasn't good. It was that the other ones were just better in my opinion.
only had, so fun fact, and we'll get more into more details of other locations, but fun fact, I only had ramen one time, and I only had sushi one time, and we stayed in Japan for about 12 days.
Yep.
And so, my bad, I'm gonna have to go back and do it again, because I'm like, how did I only have sushi once?
And the sushi we had that one time was like the conveyor belt sushi, not even like
it was a conveyor, and that was in Tokyo, and we'll talk about Tokyo. Tokyo's gonna be a long one. That was in Tokyo.
Okay, this is already getting long. Okay,
yeah.
So
you want to do a part two to Osaka, or you want to keep going?
No, I said let's keep going.